In case you haven't heard, President Obama issued sanctions against Russia. Actually, it occurred last night, but it was just announced this morning. And what Obama did was he issued sanctions against the head of the GRU, which is the #1 Russian equivalent of our CIA, and also several other individuals that were tied directly to Vladimir Putin, his unofficial money launderers, and then several other businesses in Russia. What he also did was he gave approximately 30 plus Russian diplomats located in Washington, D.C. and San Francisco 72 hours to get out of the country. Now, that part, the expulsion of the diplomats, has to do with the Russians screwing around with our diplomats over in Russia. But the important part is the sanctions that have been levied against Russia. Now, Barack Obama did everything but name Vladimir Putin as responsible for all the hacks into the DNC, into John Podesta's emails, and also into the hacks into the registration systems of Arizona and another state. Now, my question is this: where the hell has he been? When it was discovered that the Russians were hacking into the DNC and into Podesta's emails, it was at that point that he should have gone directly to the CIA and all of the other intelligence agencies and said to them he wanted to know exactly who, what, and where. And it didn't take them long, once he made that decision, for them to point him in the direction. Okay? Now, I don't know what the hell's going on with the FBI, but when the 17 intelligence reporting agencies came back and said it was the Russians that did it, and the FBI didn't initially want to sign on to the notification of those 17 agencies, for me, that drew a big red flag. Now, they did eventually come on board, and they basically had no choice. But when the CIA tells you that the Russians hacked us, and even though you and I are not privy to the information, though it has come out, exactly who, what, when, and where, okay, something should have been done then. Now, Obama claims that he had spoken directly to Vladimir Putin on several occasions, telling him to cut it out, and he didn't. And once WikiLeaks started to releasing those emails, that's when he should have come in and dropped those damn sanctions, okay? But no, Obama, feeling overconfident, and that's exactly what it was. He felt overconfident that Hillary Clinton was going to win the election, so he wanted to be holier than thou and not take any action. Fuck that. If that had been the Republicans, they would have dropped the hammer on the Russians immediately, okay? They would have had no qualms about the actions that Mr. Obama took. They would have had no qualms in taking those actions prior to the elections to firm up their positions if, in fact, they were ahead, and definitely if they were behind, you know, stating that the Russians were screwing around with their chances on winning the election. But no, not President Obama. He decides he doesn't want to weigh in. That's bullshit. President Obama waited 2 months too long to take this action. And now the Democrats basically got screwed. So he could say whatever he wants as far as not weighing in on the elections, but his buddies, the Republicans, would have not had the same compulsion not to weigh in. let me remind everyone of the fact that Mr. Obama, before he was even in office, there were a bunch of Republicans that got together to collude against him and any success that he would have had. So, though they couldn't weigh in on his election back in 2008, they damn sure decided that they were not going to play fair or even work for the betterment of the people of this country. That right there should have told him exactly what the game was and what the rules were, i.e., anything is fair in love and war, and there damn sure wasn't going to be any love coming to him from the Republican Party. So now, with less than a month to go before he leaves office, now all of a sudden he's growing a pair of balls and doing the stuff that needs to be done. Not just with the Russians, but also with the Israelis and their bullshit settlement situation that they're making. Now, really quick, the Israelis are greenlighting settlements to go into the quote-unquote disputed lands of Palestine. And the argument has been made that they're going on with their lives. But those settlements that they're building in Palestine, in the East Bank, in East Jerusalem, and in Gaza do nothing but put targets out there for any terrorist, and I'll say Hamas, which is, in my opinion, a terrorist organization. That puts a target on those settlements to be attacked by Hamas or any other terrorist group that's anti-Israel. So how does that further the security of Israel? It doesn't. All it does is put additional roadblocks in the path for a peaceful settlement and for the Palestinians to get, their land, which actually belongs to them. But back to this Russian situation. President Obama had the intel before the election, okay? And to be honest with you, I'm almost positive that he shared that intel with Paul Ryan, with Mitch McConnell, and with the various intelligence committees within the House and the Senate, so that everybody knew what was going on. His announcement today, and again, I'm positive that he ran this past Ryan and McConnell, because Ryan has already issued a statement condemning Obama for not taking action sooner, okay? So, as usual, the Democrats are a day late and a dollar short coming to the party, and now we're going to have to deal with this crap for the next 4 years. The only decent part about it is the fact that the Republicans are on board with him against the Russians, and Donald Trump is going to have a hell of a time trying to remove the sanctions that President Obama has put in place.